Good evening, I'm Christian Bruey. We are several months into a global pandemic that has damaged our economy, frightened many of our friends and neighbors, and has claimed the lives of more than 130,000 Americans. In the race for the White House, President Donald Trump wants voters to believe he's the one who can clean up the country's chaos, calling himself a law and order candidate. Good morning, I'm Christian Bruey. It's Wednesday, June 17th. I'm not exactly sure where we live anymore because where's the humidity? Let's get over to Brian Shields in Severe Weather Center 9. At 3:22 today, NASA and SpaceX hope to launch a Falcon 9 rocket carrying 2 astronauts from the Kennedy Space Center to the International Space Station. SpaceX has set up a simulation where you can try and dock the Crew Dragon.
You tried that.
I tried earlier today. I was not successful, so I would need it to be autonomous, whereas she said Bob Bankin and Doug Hurley, they know what to do if they do need to take over. We have seen an outpouring of grief tonight for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, mixed with questions about who will replace her.
They didn't play. They made their point. So what's the next step?
Well, Orlando Magic guard Michael Carter-Williams put it nicely. He said after they leave the bubble, they really need to figure out what's next to keep them active in their communities, talking with local leaders and getting people to vote. And they've already started working with the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. But it's also about putting pressure on the team, especially the owners, because many of them are billionaires with access and influence. The players want them to use that power to persuade politicians and community leaders at every level, regardless of political party. Chris Nicketts trained for an entire year to get ready for that Ironman competition.
I mean, just wow. That's amazing.
It is.
I'm so happy for him.
It's incredible. I know Joe Kepter has done a couple of stories on him, and during that Ironman in Panama City, he fell off his bike, didn't quit. He got attacked by ants, didn't quit.
What?
Just unbelievable story. Other Orlando theme parks have also been announcing layoffs as they try to make it in this pandemic. Last week, we told you more than 1,100 Universal Orlando employees will be laid off before the end of the year. According to paperwork found with the state, the layoffs include employees who worked in the company's creative division and executive offices. Overall, more than 5,300 Universal Orlando workers are on extended furlough. And over at SeaWorld, 2,800 workers have been laid off. The park furloughed 90% of its workforce toward the beginning of the pandemic. Some were called back when the park reopened in June, but many who were still furloughed have been laid off.
I think you'll be glad you stayed up for this one. For the first time, the public will be allowed inside the Give Kids the World Village in Kissimmee. It is a resort and a nonprofit that hosts critically ill children and their families.
Christian Bruey gives us a sneak peek at their upcoming Night of a Million Lights event and shows us how they're helping to keep Central Florida strong.
The lights are already going up at Give Kids the World Village. In the midst of a child's darkest days, this 80-acre wonderland is itself a light.
This place is magical to everybody who walks in these doors.
Unfortunately, the doors have been closed at the village since mid-March.
And I'll never forget that last family that checked out on March 18th. It was just like somebody kicked you in the stomach. And to hear this village, which is normally filled with children's laughing and seeing families skipping and frolicking and putting all their cares away, to go silent, it was devastating.
Stacy and Gavin Haynes were one of the last families to visit the village before the pandemic hit.
The staff were really nice, and it felt just like home.
Gavin is one of 4 people in the world to have been born with both Dravet syndrome, a severe form of epilepsy, and cortical dysplasia, an abnormality of the brain cortex.
Dravet is very catastrophic. A large number of children pass away before they're adults. However, he's doing very well.
In fact, Gavin has not had a seizure since they left the village back in March.
To go from seizures as long and as bad as his to nothing, we don't say anything. Okay. We don't say anything. There's too many other sides of that coin. So we are just happy and taking it day by day and keeping it going.
On this day, they're back at the village to volunteer. Gavin also checked out the new ice cream shop, and Stacy admired the lights for the nonprofit's upcoming Night of a Million Lights.
The Night of a Million Lights is our opportunity to allow the community to come in and experience the whimsy and the magic of Give Kids the World Village. We have lit up practically every corner of the village, and I think it's just a holiday spectacular like no other.
The event will run from November 13th through January 3rd and is the brainchild of the village's Director of Development, Stephen Amos.
I think when you walk through, you just kind of forget about a lot of what this year has been. The Christmas lights just tell the story of hope and what the future holds for us. I mean, I look at these lights, I'm just blown away every single day of what you can do with the Christmas lights and what the impact is going to be for Give Kids the World next year.
In our 35-year history, we've never turned down a child, so we've made that promise and we're going to keep it. So these are going to be precious funds for us to be able to fulfill our mission.
It's a mission to keep Central Florida strong.